People say that the one thing they're concerned about is the massive amount of litter along the highways. We are a throwaway society. We've been conditioned to be a throwaway society through packaging, and apparently we need a great deal more education among some of our citizens.
Our main approach to stopping the litter problem is through an education program. This has been the main thrust of our efforts, trying to educate the public to the pitfalls of littering and the waste that takes place when we litter our highways and streets. We've done this through an extensive program working with the schools and working through the news media with public service announcements through our little cartoon character Rhodey, which has been most effective. We've also worked with displays at various county fairs around the state where we could get to the most people. But education has been the main thrust of our efforts to stop litter or to help deter the public from littering.
It's not only unsightly, but it's extremely costly to all of us as taxpayers. Now, with a state that doesn't have a lot of money in the first place, I'd say that that's a luxury that we can ill afford. The basic problem that we have in Alabama with littering is law enforcement. We are not getting proper law enforcement. If you talk to Ray Bass, I'm sure Ray Bass will tell you the same thing.
Well, of course, enforcement is something that's very difficult, and it's one area that we get very little cooperation from the various law enforcement agencies. It's a difficult law to enforce, and one that's maybe not quite as attractive as speeders or bootleggers or what have you, but it's very definitely a big problem that needs to have more attention in the enforcement areas.
In 1977, our troopers only arrested 223 motorists for littering in the state of Alabama for 1 year. And this compared to 171 arrests for 1976. So you can see, apparently people are not throwing the litter out where the troopers can see them, because this is a very small number when we consider the condition that our roads and highways are in.
What can the state troopers do about stopping litter?
Other than what they're doing, that's making arrests when they see the littering being done. I don't know of anything that can be done.
It's unsightly for the motorists and for tourists traveling through the state. It gives a bad impression. It's unnecessary. It's expensive to try to pick up the litter that's unthoughtfully thrown by the motorist. The thoughtless motorist, I think, is the biggest cause of litter. People that just don't realize what they're doing. They find a convenient a way of disposing of every what undesirable object they have in the automobile. Another element are the people that are looking for places to dump rubbish and what have you. This is a problem, but not as much so as the motorists that just unthinkingly litter the highway. We can't keep up with the litter bugs. We do not do an adequate job. We don't have the resources to spend in this particular area. So our main efforts, you might say, is through education.
The three programs that we ran were the Hee Haw Honeys, which was a comedy about three girls traveling from Florida to Nashville to audition for the Hee Haw show. That ran on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, we ran The Next Step Beyond, and it was a drama based on an actual case history of an autistic child who helps to rescue a helpless cripple from an oncoming tidal wave. On a Thursday, we ran The Beach Girls, and this was another comedy. It's about three girls who have scraped together enough money to go live in a rented beach house for the summer and rehearse for their big break in show business as a vocal group.
Did you get a big response?
Yes, we were really pleased with the response. We've gotten about 500 letters, and at last count, The Next Step Beyond, the drama that ran on a Wednesday, is leading the pack, and then is The Beach Girls, and then is the Hee Haw Honeys.
This is sort of an unusual way of selecting a program. How is it usually done?
Well, normally the responsibility of selecting the program to air would fall to the program director, and it is quite a large responsibility. He probably views over 100 shows each year, brand new shows, and he has quite a lot to say as to what goes on the air. If he doesn't have the final word, his word certainly carries a lot more weight than anyone else around here.
With having some 500 coming in, what sort of unusual response have you gotten?
Well, I think the funniest ones, as always, are the negative responses. I have a letter here from a man who was talking about his disappointment at our preempting the Muppet Show on Thursday night to run The Beach Girls. He says, the Muppets is a feature I look forward to at my household, and a disappointment when substituted for the junk shows your program director seems to be so proud of. I personally believe the Muppets should be substituted for your program director.
Well, that is interesting, particularly considering that we do have now a new program director.
Yes, we do, and he's a person who should be quite familiar to most of the people throughout the state. It's Carl Stevens. He had been with the station for 18 years before going with one of our sister stations, WIS-TV in Columbia. But we're really glad to have Carl back at the station and back in Montgomery.
Well, we should hasten to add also that the selected series was not the reason that we have a new program.
No, it definitely was not. We're just glad to have him back.